The legend of Sherlock Holmes began in the late 1800s. Arthur Conan Doyle wrote well over 50 published works featuring the great detective. But eventually Doyle grew tired of Holmes and killed off the character. But there was such a public outcry that Doyle had no choice but to bring him back, claiming that Holmes had faked his own death in order to fool his enemies. And he's been around in one form or another ever since. In fact, the Guinness Book of World Records lists Sherlock Holmes as the most portrayed literary human character in film and television history. Now, some people say the reason Sherlock Holmes remains so popular is that he manages to bring a little bit of order and resolution to a very confusing world. And in a roundabout way, that's kind of what we're doing here. Solving life's little mysteries, one weird question at a time. And we are glad you're along for the adventure. So it's time to don the deerstalker cap and light the calabash pipe and get to work.
There's no smoking here.
Oh, sorry.
And that cap looks ridiculous.
Okay, well, what about the tweed cape?
You're inside? It's like 75 degrees, you know?
Point taken. Well, in that case, we'll just channel our inner Sherlock Holmes.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
And welcome you to the podcast that answers some of the questions you've always wondered about.
It's the Always Wondered podcast.
Hi, I'm Rick Peterson. Thanks for joining us. We begin today with my favorite part of the meal.
You mean the part where someone else picks up the check?
Yeah, okay. We begin today with my other favorite part of the meal. Of course, we're talking about dessert. You know, where the wait person comes over to you and asks,
Would you like to see our dessert menu?
and you put up a big front.
Oh, I couldn't possibly. I'm way too full.
But 5 minutes later, you're elbow deep in a 7-layer double fudge molten lava cake served in a cast iron skillet with vanilla ice cream melting in real time and rivers of chocolate threatening nearby tables. So that leads us to our question. Have you always wondered when dessert became a thing? Well, spoiler alert, it hasn't always been what we know today. Okay, humans have always craved sweets. Our earliest ancestors didn't have creme brulee, but they did go out of their way to find naturally sweet things. Fruit, berries, honey, but it wasn't after dinner. It was more like,
Look, sweet stuff. Eat before bees come back.
the early Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans loved their sweets too, but they ate them during the meal, not after.
Is this dessert?
No, it's lunch.
Fine by me.
Then when the Middle Ages rolled around, things took a turn for the weird. The sweets basically became medicine.
Oh, sweetheart, is your stomach upset? Here, have some cake.
But by the 18th century, rich Europeans decided,
A meal needs a final act.
in fact, the word dessert comes from the French word,
Desservir.
which means to clear the table. So they pretty much cleared the main dishes away and brought out the fancy sweet stuff.
I'll have you know this sugar swan sculpture costs more than your house. Do enjoy.
And when the Industrial Revolution rolled around, dessert escaped the palace. Sugar got cheap, ovens got better, cookbooks spread, and dessert was no longer a privilege, it was a right. Which brings us to today, where dessert is just assumed. You don't ask.
Will there be dessert?
Instead, you simply ask.
What kind?
Pies, pudding, ice cream sundaes, brownies, cookies, cakes, or hey, just the entire bakery section of Costco.
Yes, please.
So dessert didn't always exist the way we know it today. It evolved from sugar survival to medicine to aristocratic bragging to finally that thing we swear we're just too full to possibly eat. And through it all, we learned one very important thing about dessert.
On second thought, I've got room.
It's the Always Wondered podcast.
If you've ever watched a James Bond film, you know some of the crazy gadgets he had at his disposal. Exploding cigarettes, ski pole gun, dagger shoes. But we're going to put that fantasy world aside for our next question and ask, have you always wondered what was the weirdest spy gadget ever devised by the CIA? This is another one that proves that fact is often stranger than fiction. The time, the 1960s. The U.S. is in the midst of the Cold War with the Soviet Union. Surveillance was of the utmost importance. The CIA knew we needed something stealthy, something sophisticated, something the Soviets would never see coming. So someone said,
I know, a cat.
Yeah, introducing Operation Acoustic Kitty.
That sounds like an afternoon show on the Disney Channel.
Nope, this was a top-secret intelligence operation. The idea was simple. Take a normal house cat, perform delicate surgery, and insert a microphone in its ear, a radio transmitter in its body, and an antenna in its tail. Yes, the CIA spent millions of dollars turning a cat into a walking, purring wiretap, with the hope that it would casually stroll up to Soviet officials and record their conversations. So what went wrong? Basically everything. First off, when you think discreet, you don't normally think an animal that randomly knocks things off tables. And maybe most importantly, cats are cats, not dogs.
Okay, kitty. Now, walk over there. Sit quietly. No, don't chase birds. No, don't lick yourself. No, don't! Oh, jeez.
Then came the test run. The CIA finally released its spy cat near a park where Soviet agents were talking. The cat took a few steps and was immediately run over by a taxi. Yeah, that was it. After years of research and millions of taxpayer dollars, the CIA quietly scrapped Acoustic Kitty. Now, you may think the moral of the story is that cats cannot be trusted with national security, or that cats cannot be weaponized, or even that cats should look both ways before darting into traffic. But no, the true lesson is this. As any cat owner will tell you, behind those piercing feline eyes, we know what they're thinking.
Foolish humans. We're the ones in charge.
The Always Wondered podcast.
You've heard it shouted in movies,
Great Scott!
comic strips,
Great Scott!
and by a man who should not be driving a time-traveling sports car.
Great Scott!
So have you always wondered the origin of Great Scott? I mean, who is Scott? Why is he so great? And what exactly did he do to deserve being yelled every time someone drops a sandwich
Great Scott!
or invents time travel?
Great Scott!
Let's rewind the clock.
Back to the year 1985.
No, back to the 1800s. Enter General Winfield Scott.
Gentlemen, I am 6'5", impeccably dressed, and extremely important.
And honestly, he kind of was. General Winfield Scott was a towering figure in American history, literally and figuratively. He was a hero of the War of 1812, commanded troops for decades, ran for president, and loved military rules, uniforms, and drama, which earned him the nickname
Old Fuss and Feathers, and I wear that name proudly.
So when something shocking happened in the 1800s, a battle turned, a plan went sideways, someone misplaced their powdered wig, people would shout,
Great Scott!
as in,
Whoa!
Good heavens!
or,
Wow, that man is so famous, we invoked his name instead of God.
and Great Scott stuck around, popping up in books, radio shows, and old movies, especially when writers wanted a clean, non-swearing exclamation. Because back then, saying anything spicy could get you canceled.
Language, please.
But then in 1985, everything changed. Marty McFly, the Libyans, the flux capacitor. And suddenly, Great Scott wasn't just old-timey, it was iconic. Doc Brown didn't just say it, he launched it.
Great Scott!
Eyebrows flying, hair standing straight up, arms flailing like an inflatable car lot balloon, all with 1.21 gigawatts of power.
1.21 gigawatts!
And just like that, a 19th century general became forever associated with time travel panic.
How could I have been so careless?
So the next time you stub your toe, spill your coffee, or accidentally invent a machine that disrupts the space-time continuum, you know exactly what to say.
Great Scott!
Yup, I still got it.
The Always Wondered podcast.
Well, that brings us to the close of another episode of Always Wondered. A reminder that new episodes arrive each and every Friday. And in between times, you can check out facebook.com/alwayswondered. There you will find links to fun videos of some of our topics on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. We are everywhere. Kind of like that one dude who keeps showing up in the background of all your vacation photos.
Honey, look. It's that guy with the plaid shorts again.
All right. As always, we leave you with one to ponder. Have you always wondered, if a bunch of cats jump on top of each other, is it still called a dog pile? Until next time, stay curious and keep wondering. I'm Rick Peterson. Thanks for listening.
The Always Wondered podcast.
If you like what you hear, please subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, and a review. Listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Feel free to offer suggestions for future topics or simply reach out to alwayswonderedpodcast@gmail.com.